Hello, audience. You are listening to the American Armchair Revolution podcast. I am your host, Mark Poland, and may I welcome you to the revolution. This podcast covers all sorts of topics ranging from politics, religion, supernatural, relationships, really anything I think is interesting and hopefully you find interesting as well. Our conversations will range from serious to silly, and I'm really excited about our topic and our guest today. I say guests because we have two guests today, because for today's topic we have, drum roll, twins. My girlfriend Dawn Builder and her identical twin sister Dana Builder are joining us today. Dawn and I have been in a relationship for about 2 years, and I've been friends with Dana probably 7 or 8 years now. Welcome to the revolution. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Thanks for asking, Mark.
How you doing, Dawn?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining this podcast. And really, I want this podcast to be about your unique experience. You do have a unique experience of being twins, and people find that interesting. And there's a lot of things that come up about siblings, and you have definitely a unique experience being twins. So really all my questions today are about that, and I know you guys are really love talking to each other about being twins, and so thank you for coming on and doing the show. So my first question is, what is the stupidest twin questions that you guys get growing up throughout your life?
Are you twins?
I would have to say, and this is Dawn speaking, I would have to say, do you guys feel each other's pain physically? I would say no. Mentally, sometimes we're always on the same wavelength of understanding each other's mental thoughts and pain.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe the physical pain you feel is probably the physical pain you gave each other as children.
Oh my God, we fought all the time. Brutally. We were really brutal with each other. But we'd make up instantly. Right afterwards, we'd be playing again.
Yeah, it never lasted long. It
Ye-
was pretty intense, and then all of a sudden it would be like, we're best friends.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the youngest of 6. I have, 5 older siblings, and I'm the youngest brother. So I understand like getting in massive arguments, and then an hour later you're playing and everything's fine.
For us, it was like 5 minutes.
That's a twin thing, I guess.
Pulling hair.
Smacking each other's head, body slamming.
Yeah. So do you have twins in the family?
We do on our dad's side, but it's like many, many generations pass. Like, we don't even know. I thought our grandma told us once that they were named like Ethel and Ethel or something like that, very close, but we don't really know. And our dad did the ancestry.com and it wasn't in the line. So I don't know if that was a made up story by our grandfather or what, but somewhere down the line, it supposedly there was.
Yeah. My family, it's the same way. We do have twins. I have on my mom's side, I have cousins that are twins, but that's the only one. And then my brother James has identical twins, what is interesting about that is one of them has autism and one of them doesn't. Like twins are, genetically supposed to be like the same. So I think it's interesting that one of them has autism and one of them doesn't.
That's very interesting.
Yeah,
Especially coming from the same DNA if they're identical.
Yeah, absolutely. But you guys have like different medical things that you guys deal with that are not the same, which I think is interesting because you are identical twins.
Which is true, Mark. I grew up with allergies and Dawn didn't. And then after I had Chloe, I had a lot of medical issues
Yeah.
that just came up and surprised me. It was horrible.
So a lot of it has to be like your environment and behavioral and like what happens in your life. I know both of you for many years, and I can tell that you guys are absolutely 100% different from each other. And I think people look at twins and they just think, oh, they're like the same person. And I just think it's interesting, like finding your identity as a child, being a twin when everyone like groups you together. Well, before I go there, I want a very, very important question. Who is the oldest?
Dana.
I'm the oldest by 15 minutes.
And do you think that has changed your relationship because you are the oldest, Dana?
Yeah, because our parents treated us differently because I was 15 minutes older than Dawn.
Dawn always tells me that she kicked you out.
Yes,
can you
I
t-
was breech,
Yes.
and we were playing footsie in the womb, and basically I kicked her out.
That is the story that she
I
made
needed
up.
my space for a little bit of time, because the rest of my life was going to be next to her.
Well, the story is this. Our parents didn't know they were having twins. They thought they were having one boy, and they were going to name that boy Dana. When our mom was in labor, the doctor said, keep pushing, Amy, there's another one. And Dawn came out 15 minutes later, and everybody was surprised.
So your parents did not know they were going to have twins?
No, Dana was born at 5:05 a.m., and I was born at 5:20. And during that period, my dad fainted, not knowing that they're going to have twin girls, and thinking they're having one boy.
I think I would faint too if I did not know I was having twins.
Oh, I
and
would
then
totally faint.
I'd be done.
I didn't even have a name yet, but on, they named me Dawn because I was born at sunrise, which I think is very special.
And they always told me that Dana means the morning star.
And Dawn means, obviously,
Dawn means we came up with a name real quick.
at sunrise.
We had to, and it had to start with a D, just to screw with everybody for the rest
Why
of our
not
lives.
Dawn? Dana and Dawn.
So let me ask you, growing up as twins, did your parents treat you as a pair, or did they encourage you to be independent?
I would have to say they treated us as a pair. We were always the twins. I mean, with every family member we had, it would be the twins. The twins are coming, the twins this, the twins that.
It really wasn't like Dana and Dawn. It was the twins.
The twins, yeah.
The twins are here.
We had bracelets on our wrists for a long time, so no one would not get us confused.
Do you ever wonder, like, when you were babies, maybe they mixed you up?
And
you
I'm really
actually-
Dana, and she's really
Yeah, maybe.
The only reason that
know
they
that-
could tell between the two of us is I had a very large forehead.
And Dana's taller because of it.
Okay, listening audience, we've had this debate over the forehead thing before. We've actually gotten a tape measure out, me and Jimmy. Jimmy is Dana's fiance, and we have actually measured their foreheads, and they are actually the same.
No, they're not.
They are.
absolutely
You
not the
mismeasured.
Mismeasured. We
For
did it like
sure.
4 times.
Well, I have to say, if you look at us right now,
I'm looking right now.
hers is definitely 2
Definitely
inches.
smaller.
Mine
It's
is
the
like
hairline. It is not the forehead.
So I have a receding hairline.
It's
But
not a receding hairline. It's just different. The parts in a different spot. Like
Yeah,
you always
Dana-
wear your
Dana
hair
and
like
I-
you always wear your hair up, Dana. You always have it like down, Dawn. So it looks like your forehead's smaller, but it's actually the same.
what do you mean up, Mark?
Like when you
like Pebbles from the Flintstones. You always kind of like throw it up in a little ponytail top ponytail.
Is that what we're talking about?
I don't know. Let's
We're
move
just
forward.
talking.
Okay.
We're just
Dana's
talking.
always been taller than Dawn.
I have a longer neck.
Dana has a longer neck. She has a bigger forehead, and it gives her 2.5 more inches than I have.
And a longer décolleté.
Okay, so I'm 4'10". Dawn
What's
is
a-
4'10",
wait, what's
and
a décolleté?
That's your chest area above your boobs.
Oh, I learned something new today. I did not know what a décolleté was.
I have more of my mom's like body type,
So
Grandma Johnson's body type, and Dana has more of our mom's body type. The slender shoulders. I have more of the like kind of cut, like muscular shoulders and biceps, and Dana's always been a little bit more slender than me in that area.
And Dawn always said I had a really flat ass.
well, our mom did. Our mom always had that kind of flat butt, and then I have my dad's butt that's a little bit more bubbly.
But guess what? Your ass is flat now. Tables have turned.
I beg to differ, but let's move forward.
I just want to remind the audience that identical twins share the same DNA.
But we have different things.
Keep reminding of that.
My boobs are bigger.
They are.
So physically, there are differences. I mean, for me, like, I know both of you very well. I can tell you apart instantly, right? I could see you guys from behind and know who's who. 'Cause I
Are
know-
behind.
Because of Dana's flat
Not
butt.
that. I meant back. Not that.
He just went over that.
That's not what I'm looking at.
Are you sure?
He's looking at our hair.
Yeah, you guys look different. I know. I can tell the difference. Other people, I get you guys confused. Acquaintances. Can you talk about that? Is it annoying? Like someone like referring to you as your twin when it's not you, and you have to.
I have an example.
It's super-
Okay, so Dana had to come into my office for a root canal, and my dentist that I work for, Dr. Kim, she took good care of Dana, and at the same time, she was excited to meet my twin because she knows me, and to get to know Dana was really fun for her and take care of her. And what is so great about that is that when she first looked at us for the first time together, she's like, "Oh wow, that's like kind of the always the same response is, oh wow, you're such twins, like you're so the same." Like they get kind of like taken back a little bit after you talk, and like I talk, Dana talks, like she can see the difference. Anyone can right away after 10 minutes of hanging out with us, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely have different personalities. I want to do something right here. I want you to describe Dana's personality, Dawn, and then Dana, I want you to describe Dawn's personality.
Dana's personality, I would say, is a little bit more feisty, but I have my moments too. But she's a little bit more like kind of like hands on, doesn't take crap from anybody, kind of puts them in their place right away. And I feel like our personality, like I'm a little bit more passive aggressive, like passive, and she's a little bit more, I'm not,
Aggressive.
aggressive, aggressive, I guess you would say.
You did nail it, Dawn. You are passive.
But Dana's like a
aggressive.
very sweet person too. Like she thinks about others. She constantly always is looking out for me. And like I feel like she
I
does
think
that
you guys
more.
definitely look out for each other. You guys fight like crazy, and I think that's normal with twins, but you also have the other part of being a twin is that you have this special connection that you always look out for each other, even after you fight.
It's kind of just like been our way our whole life. Like it doesn't matter what happens through our lives, what issues arise. Like me and her will always know each other better than we know anybody else in our even relationships, like boyfriend, fiance, brother, dad, mom, grandma, like uncles, aunts, cousins. Like Dana and I will always, even our best friends will know us, but Dana and I will always continuously know each other more than anyone else in our lives.
Absolutely.
And that's what I think the definition of twins is, identical twins.
Well, I just think that because we grew up together, we've always been
Shared the same
together.
space.
We've shared friends. We've shared family moments in a sense that we were always together at everything, with everything. And I think what separated us down the line was me getting married. I think that was a definite moment,
Game changer.
defining moment of getting our own identities.
And I definitely want to talk about that, but can we talk about how would you describe Dawn's personality, Dana?
Very passive, type B, got along with everybody. She wasn't judgmental by any means. And I think that she was able to create friendships easier than I was. I was a lot more, I guess you would say, I didn't trust a lot of people, and she trusted everyone. And it made her have more friends
Mhm.
than I did.
So, so basically, what I'm gathering here is that you spent much of your time together and really even like, into adulthood. And then the moment that changed a little bit was you getting married. Is that
That sounds right, Mark, because once I got married, she felt like I left her in a sense, and I was becoming one with, my husband, and she just sort of felt like we weren't going to be together anymore. And we lived together and we shared still stuff together, and we had the same friends, we worked at the same place,
Went to school together.
went to school together. Just growing up together was just absolutely incredible because you always had that other person to relate to. Outside of us, it was like, yeah, we knew people, we had friends, but we were also like lucky in the fact that we had each other always. We had each other's backs, we
That's great.
supported each other. And then when I got married, she felt like basically I was leaving her in a sense because I was forming a relationship, a marriage with somebody.
Yeah.
She respected the person I married.
So, what are your thoughts on that, Dawn?
I feel that when Dana got married, yes, I felt kind of I don't want to say abandonment from her because she was always going to still be there. She was just involved, with somebody else that they were growing a life together. And I just, because I was so used to having her around, and she with me and her growing up, like, and living on her own together, she always took care of a lot of things that I don't want to say that I couldn't or didn't. She just always did. It was like mama bear, but my twin. And she just, when that ended, I had to kind of figure out my own responsibilities with my independence in life. And I know that sounds kind of juvenile in a way, but at the same time, it was happening to me.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of these stories that you guys would like to talk about being twins.
Well, I would like to bring up my brother, our older brother. He's 6 years older than us. And I mean, he's dealt with us our whole lives.
Poor guy.
I can't imagine what we put him through. But at the same time, the twin thing, like, when we were kids, we had to have everything the same. Our grandma, we'd go over to our grandma builder's house, and she would have food for us and snacks and all this stuff. And when it came down to SpaghettiOs, we would have to have the same amount of meatballs in our bowl. And she knew that, and if she got it wrong,
So
there was a little
you would
problem. Count the meatballs.
count the meatballs.
We'd count the level of the Kool-Aid we get in our glasses. Dana get more.
I've had to do similar things with my two daughters. They always think that the other one has more. So here was my solution. All right, you pour and the other person decides.
I wish they thought of that.
Because then, like the first person is going to make it as equal as possible because the other person gets to decide which one's what.
But it's funny that had to be a thing because, like, literally we'd fight over it and get mad at each other because one had more than the other.
Right, but then we probably wouldn't even finish our meal.
Do you guys think...
Because we got full so fast. Our grandma would feed us like no other, and we were like, we're done, but we had to get mad at the beginning.
Do you guys think you fought more because you're twins than, like, other siblings?
I don't know, actually.
No, I think so. I think because we're always, comparing each other, even though everybody thought we were the same person, in a sense, that I think for us, just being together constantly, we wanted to be different. We wanted to be recognized as different. But in reality, everybody treated us as the same.
Yeah, and how many years were you wearing the same clothes?
I want to say up until somewhere in grade school.
I know. I think more up until like kindergarten. I think
maybe.
Once we started putting on our own shirts and pants, we were deciding on our own clothes.
Yeah,
I just wore the same thing over and over again. You always liked a little change.
Remember your Reebok flight jacket?
No, it wasn't even a
wore
flight
it
jacket.
every day.
It was a sweatshirt. It wasn't a flight jacket.
I remember it being a flight jacket.
No,
like it had a zipper and it was like flighty.
No, it was a sweatshirt, and I had Reebok tennis
Did it have a
shoes,
hoodie?
and I had black sweatpants, and I pretty much wore that every day, maybe in first grade.
You know what's interesting? They're arguing about a memory, which cracks me up because I have listened to them tell stories for years now, and they always remember it differently, which I think is hilarious because they were like doing the same thing. And they totally remember it differently.
But doesn't everybody remember it differently?
Yeah, there is actually research on memory. Yeah, there is. There's research on memory that really like only 20% of what you remember as a childhood is actually accurate. So I think you guys trying to remember stories, probably you're both sort of right and you're both sort of wrong is my take on it. Like, and then that happens in my family. Like my brothers will tell stories that we talk, and I was there, and we'll remember it differently.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I'm the youngest, so maybe I'm remembering it different. So I usually like defer to their memory because they were older. But you guys being twins, you're the same age, you experienced it, so you guys argue about it.
What's funny about that, Mark, is literally being 15 minutes older than Dawn, everybody basically went, Dana, you're older and you're the boss.
Yeah, and then I feel like our parents treated me differently in the way that they were like, Dana's going to get this responsibility and take care of Dawn in a way that she was older.
I always felt like I had to take care of you.
But you're not older.
But 15 minutes, like Jesus Christ.
But they gave Dana like that role that she was
immediately.
She was taking care of me or something, taking care of Dawn.
Our mom would make comments that Dana's the boss of you. Hands on the hip, and Dana's the boss of you.
That's funny. That's just interesting because I mean that I do that with my girls, right? Like Amara's older, so I give her more responsibility and I expect her to do certain things. And it's just interesting that 15 minutes your parents decided.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to say I wish we were a minute apart. You know, like, would that even be something? Like,
Yeah, I don't
I think
know.
it still would
no,
be.
with twins, people are like,
They're
well, how
usu-
many minutes apart are you? I'm like 15, and everyone just like goes, what? That's a long time.
Yeah, usually they're like average 5 minutes apart.
Yeah.
I didn't want to come out. I was comfortable, and
She was comfortable in there and she kicked me out.
Yeah, you just
Said,
can
Dana, get the fuck out of here.
like Dana get
Yep.
okay. So everyone talks about like, strange twin things, right? Strange twin coincidences. So let's talk about it. I know you guys have weird coincidence things. Can you tell us some of the times you like thought the same thing being, even though you're apart from each other in adulthood?
I want to answer this first. This is Dawn. I feel like Dana and I do the weirdest things in the way that it's like, you know, we all text each other now. No one answers the phone. And if they do, okay. But most of the time we are texting each other. And there's just certain things that we are actually doing. We don't even live together, but there's certain things that we're doing at the same time that's like, what? Wait, you're doing that too?
Like what? Give us an example.
Like, I was ordering underwear from Victoria's Secret, and I actually haven't ordered from there in a long time. And
Uh-huh.
I told her, no, I did this one morning, and then all of a sudden, after I do it, she texts me, "Oh, Dawn, you got to get these underwear from Victoria's Secret, these briefs." And I was like, "I just did."
Briefs?
Or whatever they were.
They weren't briefs. They were like
The
no show
hipsters.
underwear, so our
Not-
yoga
no-
pants won't show the line.
See, they sort of agree with the story and sort of don't.
I said, Dawn, you need to get these underwear from Victoria's Secret because they don't show the lines in our yoga pants.
But it's odd that you were thinking about this on the same
maybe
day
we're
at the
doing
same
exact
time.
Same thing. We're doing the exact
Absolutely.
same thing, just in a different way.
I'm
Yeah.
so happy we're talking about underwear.
So
Shout out to the panties out there.
Go Victoria's Secret.
Win all the time.
all right, Dana, do you have a story of weird coincidence?
I do. Let's see. I think it's more on the lines of what Dawn's talking about, the whole texting thing, because I feel like I'll text her something and she'll be like, I just did that. Like this morning, just talking about this podcast, like getting revved up for it and trying to figure out what we were going to say. I said, I want to converse prior to doing the podcast from the questions.
And Dawn
she goes,
told me the same
I
thing.
literally just told Mark the same thing. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we're on the same page.
But that's it's just I think that's how it goes with twins, like especially with Dana and I, because we have these incidences all the time that will just kind of like we either wow our partners or we wow each other. Like that just happened, and I wish I could come up with like there's a million of them, but I can't come up with one for some reason. But it happens all the time.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely have seen it firsthand. And I just think it's interesting because you guys are truly like totally different personalities, but there is that like connection with you guys. It's like hard to explain over distance, over time. You guys do things at the same time, regardless.
It's
The
a bond that
That was perfect.
There we go. Sums it up in a nutshell. There's a bond that we have and share that nobody else will understand.
we just said bond at the same time.
I know.
So another question. Let's talk about your older brother. How much older is he?
6 years older.
Okay, and he grew up in the house with you. Did he ever have to play ref between you guys?
I don't know. I think he actually liked the match that we were having if we were fighting. I don't know if he tried to break us up necessarily, or I don't remember that per se. But at the same time, like our brother was like always like when we were kids, he pretty much was always in our lives. Like when he grew up in his teens, he kind of like left, and was doing his own thing with his friends. But mostly when we were growing up, especially in the ages,
Grade school,
elementary school, before, he was always we were under his wing. We would go
Yeah.
into his room. He had the coolest stuff in his bedroom, Atari, candy, music. I mean, we grew up with our brother learning like the coolest music ever. I mean,
and that was the time of the cassette tape.
I thought it'd be 8-track, but
Yes, you are younger than us.
Yes, I am.
No, but I think our brother, like, really influenced us in our lives, like, inspired us in our lives. I think, we're his little sisters forever, and he's been the greatest brother we could ever ask for.
Oh, that's sweet.
I couldn't imagine him not in our lives. Like, it's insane.
We did have some interesting times with him that we remember.
He definitely entertained us. Like, he was not a boring brother
Oh,
by
he
any
was
means.
super creative and super protective, but also at the same time, how he played with us was really intense.
Yeah, he
How
had
did he do that?
He would make games up that got us pretty much our adrenaline pumping. One game was he would grab us by the arm in the middle of the living room, on carpet, of course, and swing us around his body and then put up his leg and trip us. And we would fall flat on our face on carpet.
And mind you, we are super tiny. Like, he could swing us around like no problem in the air.
He would play.
I mean, he would get air on us and then throw his foot up and trip us, and we'd be like, "Oh, Kevin!" And then he would keep doing it. Like,
And he wouldn't
I
do
just
it
wanna
to
have
hurt
fun.
us at all. It wasn't about anything like hurting us. It was just fun and games. But
oh, I
we
would fall over and
yeah,
like,
but we would be
hopefully
fine.
the
We were
couch was out of the way so I didn't hit my head.
We were like rubber bands.
Yeah.
And then he would play this roller coaster game where he would put us in his arms like a baby and then whip us around, and he would go in circles like we were like riding a roller coaster. That was fun.
My brother Matt is not as nice as your brother. What he would do.
You had mean brothers.
I love I love you brothers.
Brothers, but they were definitely, you were the youngest.
Yeah, so my brother Matt, he would grab my arms, and we had this like porch outside, and it had like a foot drop off. It was all like pavers or whatever. And then he would grab me by the arms and then spin me around, and I'm like, "Oh, this is so fun!" Oh, and then he would just let go. He would
Flies through the window.
just fly.
John and I thought it was so fun until he'd trip us,
Yeah.
and then we didn't know where we were going to land.
But our brother would play, he would build us forts,
Aw.
One time, like, I mean, inside and outside, like, coming from Wisconsin and in the wintertime, like, we would, on our side of our house growing up, we would get this huge snowdrift. And it would be like 4, 5, 6 feet sometimes. And I remember one winter, he was building an igloo. Like, he literally cut out like an entire hole in this drift, circleized it, like made it like a sphere, made us like we could sit in there and hang out. And it was cold enough that the snow was packing and getting icy, and it was staying in one position. Well, one time we were in there, and guess it was melting, and no one was in there but me. And I'm sitting there enjoying the coolness of it. No
because
pun
I
intended.
knew it was
No
going to
pun
collapse.
intended. All of a sudden, it just collapsed. Like 5 feet of snow collapsed on me. And I'm probably like, this little 6-year-old. And then I remember my brother saving the day. And like, I was freaking out, right? Crying and screaming. And he pulls me out by my ankles and saves the day.
It's funny that you just remember him saving the day.
Ew.
I was there helping. I was frantic. He wasn't even around. I'm like, Kevin, Dawn is underneath the snow. Like, she's underneath it. I don't think she can breathe. And you don't remember that because you were the one underneath the snow.
I'm sure Dana tried to save your life.
Yes, of course I did.
I'm sure she did too.
So here's my question about that. I know you guys are close to your brother. So
Our brother Kevin.
yes, your brother Kevin. And so what is the difference? I mean, I know he's a little bit older, but like your relationship with Kevin, not a twin. I mean, like you're close to him, but like, can you describe the difference between a twin and just like a regular sibling?
Kevin being 6 years older than us, he was definitely always trying to protect us. But at the same time, like when we were in middle school, he was in high school. Obviously, he was getting older and having his own friends,
Leaving the
and
nest.
doing his own thing. And Dawn and I found ourselves just being
Relying on each other.
like we were separate from him. He kept drifting away because that's what happens in high school. And being 6 years older.
What was he ever like protective over like boyfriends or anything like that?
No.
No.
It was never like that.
Well, we didn't have boyfriends until we were like
In high school.
Yeah.
So he was out.
Yeah, he was already like off at UWM, Milwaukee, like doing his own
When
thing.
we were in high school.
In Phoenix or in Milwaukee and doing his own thing with school and stuff. Growing up in middle school, we were friends with a lot of people. Like we all had this huge group of guy friends, girlfriends, and we all like were really close together. And our friend would always throw like the house gatherings with her ping pong table and her beach and her pond and her paddle boats and basketball. You know, we just had so much fun at her house, and everyone would kind of conglomerate there, like come together there. And when it comes to our friendships and boyfriends, when you're in middle school and you're hanging out, you know, you're dating. I remember dating a friend of mine for 5 minutes. You know what I mean? I remember dating another guy for like a day. You know, maybe went to the movies and held hands and then we broke up. Nothing was real. It was just, you know, okay, a little cutesy, sweetie little thing.
She definitely was asked on a date before me. And
Robbie
the date
Stevens.
was Robbie Stevens. And they went to the chocolate factory and his parents were there.
Sat at the back booth, and we sat at the front booth and we shared a sundae, and it was very sweet.
And the chocolate factory was a cute little small place in our small town of Cedarburg, and they served sandwiches and
ice cream. What was so cool about that experience for me is being in 4th grade, like 9 years old, and the phone rings and it's Robbie Stevens. And I remember like kind of like anticipating a call from him and getting excited about it. And when he called me and that phone rings, you know, the phone on the wall with the cord.
Old school.
The old school phone. And I remember being in our basement and answering it and talking to him for like, maybe like 15 minutes.
Because the cord was that long.
No, the phone was in the basement on the wall by the bar that Dad built.
I think Dana
so
is questioning whether there was a phone down there.
I just remember the conversation being on that phone.
The phone was on the wall in the kitchen.
And then the other phone was in the basement where I was actually talking to him so I could talk to him in private. And I remember specifically talking to him, and he asked me out to go to the chocolate factory. And I was like thinking, what am I going to wear?
And I remember helping her figure out what to wear.
I wore these really cool jeans that had holes in them. I remember the jeans more than anything else. I don't remember the shirt.
So when did you guys develop your different like clothing style? Like
grade school.
Yeah, we didn't have that much money growing up, so like when it came to clothes, we pretty much shared everything.
It was a lot of hand-me-downs.
Who's more like girly, into makeup, into clothes and whatnot?
Dana.
For sure, I am. And I remember a time where, because we didn't have that many clothes to choose from, I literally put like clothes together for the week, and I would line them up against the wall in our bedroom by our bed. And I had Monday through Friday. And then Dawn comes walking in the room. She's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "I am ready for the week. These are my outfits, and this is happening because I thought of it first.
The same
because
thing.
I thought of it first." And she goes, "Dana, you can't take all the clothes, then I won't have anything." And I'm like, more power to myself.
Yeah, well, I was pretty passive back then. I got a little upset because I didn't know what to wear. I actually wasn't very creative with clothes ever. I just kind of got comfortable with a few things anyway. And Dana, to me, like, even though she was a style cat and figured out her outfits, like, I think what she would wear, I would never wear. Like, one time I tried to wear an over-the-shoulder shirt. It was white. And the whole day at school, I was uncomfortable. I was like, why did I wear this? I'm just not myself today.
What do you mean over-the-shoulder?
It was like an over-the-shoulder, like, shirt. And it went over the shoulder. And I didn't like any minute of that at school. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do Dawn. I'm going to wear what Dawn is comfortable with. I'm not going to try to be like Dana and wear an over-the-shoulder
shirt / flight jacket.
Because my life, I would rather be comfortable than miserable all day just looking good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care.
You know what I think happened is that Kevin had an influence on me on...
Well, he was
such a style cat. And, like, I always felt like I needed to look good and, like, put outfits together.
Yeah,
you kind of
went a different direction.
You just didn't care.
I just would rather be comfortable. I'm not a fashion show. I know I'm never going to be one.
But you're so cute.
And that's what I get away with, you know?
Oh.
I have to do all that nonsense.
Typical.
And you're so cute. You don't either, but you just do it.
So, question I'm sure you've gotten before, and it's probably one of the stupid questions. Have you ever switched places
It
when you
is
were young?
stupid, Mark.
It is. So is that a yes or a no?
I have a story that we did, and Dawn believes that it never happened.
Let's pretend it did, and let's say it.
Our friend said, you guys should switch places, switch classrooms. So
Junior high, elementary school,
middle school.
middle school.
So I remember it that I did. And I was sitting in her classroom, like profusely sweating and nervous about it, but like doing it as almost like
A dare?
Like a dare. Like I double dog you.
I wouldn't do it.
Switch classes. And mind you, I don't know what Dawn did. Maybe she sat in the hallway and just waited. But I remember doing it. I remember sitting there and being like, okay, this isn't my classroom. We'll see what happens. Till this day, she believes it didn't happen.
Okay, but what do you remember?
I remember that sitting
Well,
in
how did
the
it
classroom.
end? How did it end?
I don't know. Like being in the classroom and nobody saying anything and then leaving.
And you
the
probably
classroom.
like, I have to go to the bathroom and find my own class.
No, I think I sat
know,
there
that
the
was-
whole time.
Knowing Dana and knowing my personality, there's no way that we would do something like that. Our self-conscious, like anything that we think, like we get too nervous about everything that we're just like, we wouldn't put ourselves in that position.
So are you saying I dreamt it, maybe?
Well, you do kind of do stuff like that.
I don't make shit up.
I wouldn't say that, but I would say that,
I think you just forgot about it.
no. Yeah. Oh, that's,
So why
Listen,
would I physically feel that I was in your classroom sitting at a desk with the different teacher?
I just know I wouldn't do that. I
Well,
know.
then maybe you did just sit in the hallway and wait for it to end.
and
Or
not
went
be-
to the bathroom.
So did they, like,
I
check
didn't
mark that
get
you
in
were
trouble.
class?
I
'Cause
didn't
they
get in
thought you
trouble.
were-
No, I didn't get in trouble.
I think we need to move to the next topic.
Yeah.
I know we're never going to get anywhere with this voters.
All right, I have a couple more questions for you. So, what are some really positive experiences you've had being twins in your adult life?
Many. Once she moved back from Connecticut,
Audience, I moved to Connecticut in 2015 for 8 years, so that would make it 2021 when I moved back. 23. I can do math.
Yeah, she's horrible at math.
I'm
always
actually really good at
it.
math.
No, you're not.
I just wasn't in that moment.
You always need a calculator.
So, the answer to the question is
So I'm thanking the calculator production manufacturers. Thank you very much for my life.
Anyway, I think when she made the decision to move back to Connecticut and we lived together again, we had many awesome moments.
We like coffee in the morning together.
Like coffee in the morning.
Getting ready for work. Dana always asking me if she
know.
looked all right in her outfit.
Hugs.
honestly, I can say that you guys are very close. I have known that for a long time now, and I think twins fight more than other siblings, but I think they have a connection that's deeper. And you guys definitely have a very deep connection and love towards each other. And there are many times in your life that you have lived together when you were kids, but also when you were adults, you lived together and had some great experiences. So would you like to talk about any of those?
Yes, I would like to say back in the day when we lived together,
Back in the day, what do you mean by back in the day?
like when we were adults, like in our 20s, and we lived together and we were going to school and we were trying to find our purposes.
And this was in Arizona?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just think that I felt lucky that I always knew I could have a roommate, and it being my twin sister. But I also feel like a lot of the times that we lived together, yeah, we would fight, but we always made it work. And then the older we got, and a couple times of my sister moving away, it was always kind of like, I want you to do you. I want you to move away and have fun and live your life. But I always felt this like, my sister's leaving me. Now what? And then she moves back after being away for so long.
8 years.
And she moves back, and we're both really excited to live together and like just be together. There was a lot that animosity that happened, but there also was a lot of love there because we were like, we're back together again. We love each other. You know, we're twin sisters, we're going to fight, rocky road, but at the same time, in the end, we are always going to have that bond that nobody else will ever have.
Yeah, I agree. I always think that it's important for us that we do have that separate lives, like time and space together, because we have been so close and so close. And that there's nowhere in this world that we go that will separate that. I mean, I could move to Amsterdam and we would still have communication and we'd still have that same bond. We're just not together. I mean, we got Zoom, we got FaceTime. We can still connect in that realm. Obviously, we're not sharing those experiences in the same space, but anywhere we go, we're always going to have that same connection. It never will change. It's never broken. It will never be. It doesn't matter what lines we cross with each other, and we make up and we figure it out. Like there's some people that, lines are crossed, it's over. Me and you, they can't, they'll.
I guess I'm a little jealous of that because I love my brothers and we're close, but like it seems like twins have a level of connection that is unique to other siblings. Like I love my brothers, but you guys seem to talk about things on a deeper level, on a deeper connection than regular siblings that like have years difference. And like I love my brothers, I love my family, but it goes through periods of times where we don't talk very much and then we do. It seems like you guys are always at least communicating like all the time.
Yeah, because we don't need that. We don't need the, hi, how are you doing? What's going on? We just get to the point of it. Like, can I get that hair product? We don't have to talk about like opening the conversation or closing it ever because we're that close. Like most people have to communicate that way. Like, hi, how are you doing? Get the conversation going. How's life? How are your kids? We can do that, but we already know like
I hate small talk.
I do too. I don't like small talk. I hate it. That's why I don't really like being in public places where all of a sudden you're on a train and someone's sitting next to you or on a plane and you're like, oh, how are those nuts?
That's why you
I don't-
wear your AirPods.
I try to avoid that as much as possible everywhere I go in public places because I don't like to create that space. That's not meaning I'm not a nice person. It's just I don't really want to indulge in that moment because you never know who you're going to meet. It could be the nicest person on the planet that taught you something, or it could be the meanest, like creepiest person, and I just don't want to engage because you never know.
Sometimes I feel like we have that like sense of like we don't like the small talk because we were raised by our grandma Johnson, our mom's mom, and everywhere we went, we talked to strangers.
I mean, this
like
was
about anything and everything, like in small talk, and it was like
this was like going to the grocery store. We're getting like 5 items. We need yogurt, milk, whatever, coffee.
She would
and
just spark up a conversation.
Back in the day, like the grocery stores like gave you coffee at the front on a table, like you were at some sort of hotel.
Oh,
and
God,
you would get
yeah.
the like old creamer and the coffee and then walk about the grocery store. And my grandma seemed to know everybody.
She didn't know everybody,
but
she
she
just
acted like she did.
Everybody was her friend.
Just be like, I thought we were just getting this and that and leaving.
But
And
then we
grandma
were
would be
put on
like,
the spot like
2 hours
oh my God,
later.
are you twins?
And then we have to
Oh, the stupidest question ever, right? Are
put
you
us on the
twins?
spot. Yeah. Are you identical?
Yeah.
Do you guys like feel the same pain?
No.
The stupidest questions ever.
If your sister breaks her arm, do you feel it?
And you're like-
No, because my arm is well intact. I didn't even hit it on a wall. Everything's fine.
You're like, I'm the one who broke Dana's arm and I didn't feel a thing.
I have never broke a bone in my body. Ever. Ever. And I'm 48. I've
Don't.
never broke
Okay.
I broke a pinky, my right pinky, and you will never imagine how much pain I was in and how much all your digits matter in your right hand.
and I did not feel it.
And Dana did not feel
Did
my
you
pain.
break her finger?
No, I was rollerblading like an idiot.
Oh my God, you just brought up a topic. So I went rollerblading when we lived together and I biffed it like no other. And I was far away from home at this point on the green belt. And I like hurt my elbow, hurt my knee, like bleeding everywhere. And I had to rollerblade back because I didn't have my phone with me. And I get home and I'm screaming to Dawn. I'm like, Dawn, I need a Band-Aid, a Neosporin or something. And she's like, what? I'm like, can you go to the gas station? Was literally right across the street. No, I'm not going to the gas station. I'm like, but I need your help. Like, I'm bleeding and it hurts. It took like forever for her to make the decision that she was going to go to the gas station.
But
and
she
help me
did
out.
make the decision.
Eventually. It wasn't instantaneous. It was like, let me think this over. Figure out how bad this is, because I got shit to do.
Not how I remember it. We'll go with her story.
What
She
is-
was injured.
What is your story?
I helped you. I would never not help anybody that was hurting. And you just, I think you were being a little over dramatic, and you had all these, you rollerbladed without any water on the greenbelt, and it was like probably like 100 degrees outside, and you wanted to just get fit or something, and you got the rollerblades on and you did your thing, and then you biffed it. And then you had a rollerblade back, no water. You get in the house. I'm kind of disoriented in the fact that you were even gone in the first place.
Why are you focusing on no water? This is about me, like,
because who leaves a house when it's 100 degrees and goes rollerblading?
me.
Exactly.
You could have
That's what I'm saying.
you could have
You
cleaned
just
off
don't
your
make stupid
wound with the
decisions.
water.
You need at least a camel pack, some Band-Aids, and some Neosporin or something. I don't know. And then you get back to the house, like, and I was probably sleeping because we worked all night. You know, we worked at a bar and we stayed up till 4 a.m. because we closed the bar at 2 and yada, yada, yada.
So
And then I probably, like, you were like, I didn't have to work last night, so I want to get up early and go rollerblading. And it was hot and whatever. And I was, like, probably confused.
you guys,
But it's not that I didn't help you.
so you guys,
weren't confused.
you guys did work together.
Like,
Can you talk about
yeah.
working together?
Yes, we can.
We were the peeps.
We were the peeps at Teakwoods.
What does that mean?
A very popular sports bar in North Scottsdale. And we worked there for a very long time. And everyone called us the peeps because we got hired. Well, Dana got hired first, but we both worked at this breakfast joint called Le Peep. And Dana and I were working this big party, and it was all Teakwoods employees and management. And we did such a good job, like, serving them and whatever, hospitality. And Dana was looking for another job, wanted something else, and talked to the general manager, Tommy, who hired her at Teakwoods. And then soon after, I started there, and we worked together for a good long stretch, 4 to 5 years.
Did you guys like working together?
Yes.
We loved it.
I
But
want to say yes.
Everyone called
because-
us the peeps because of Le Peep, because we got hired from there to there.
Okay.
So then that's what we were
Called.
constantly called. It wasn't Dana.
I was in Rocky Point one time.
So
I
even
was in Rocky Point one time, and people that came into Teakwoods regularly were there at the same time, you know, whatever. And they're shouting at me across the way, going, "Hey, the peeps." And I was like, wow, so famous.
We would go anywhere, like to the grocery store around where we worked, and we'd run into people all the time, and they were just like, the peeps.
So even in adulthood, people were pairing you together,
Yes,
not
absolutely.
treating you as individuals.
Absolutely.
No, we were
I mean, doesn't that bother you that people don't treat you as individuals?
Yeah, I think after, we became adults, it just got more annoying.
I actually liked it because I thought, like, it made it more special that people had a cute nickname for us and remembered, like...
Well, that's one thing. And the other thing probably was like a little bit of feeling famous in a sense because it was just constant. It was just the peeps, the twins, like just seeing us out just in our regular clothes or pajamas and recognizing us and making it a point.
No,
to
Dana
say
would
hi.
dress... Dana... You know the celebrities that go out and they need to cover up because they don't want anyone recognizing them?
You had like sunglasses.
Dana had, like, the sunglasses, the
and
hat.
I didn't realize I was sitting with famous people right here.
No, we're not
famous. It's just other people like just
recognizing
because
you all
of
the
being
time.
twins. It was like such a big deal.
We stood out.
I remember one time being at the grocery store with Dawn, and the checkout lady thought she was my
Daughter.
Oh, I bet you did not take that
That
well.
was horrifying. Horrifying. I'm like, she's my twin sister.
I look younger. Apparently.
Way younger, apparently.
maybe
Like
maybe she
18
needed to get
years
her
younger.
she needed to get her eyes checked.
I don't know what that was about, but it was really annoying.
I thought that was hilarious.
It was at Fry's.
I thought it was Target.
Of course you disagree. All right, I have 2 questions that I ask everyone that comes on. So you guys ready? Okay. First question is, where do you get your news? Dawn, you can go first. Where do you get your news?
ABC News on my Echo show and KTAR in my car on the radio.
All right, Dana, where do you get your news?
KTAR and Fox.
Okay, so we got Fox and you said ABC. Okay. All right, here is my one political question for the podcast that I ask everyone. Well, I guess not political, but where do you see America in 10 years? And I'll let you guys decide who goes first.
I'm going to go first because I have a daughter and I think a lot about it. And I understand that AI is definitely our future and it's already in our present day time. And I just think that because I have a daughter who's 14, in 10 years, she's got to really figure out what she's going to do with her life that has nothing to do with AI in order to make a living. And that scares.
I mean, that terrifies
shit
me
out of
too.
me.
I got 2 daughters, and like, what's going to happen when all of our jobs can be done by AI? You know, I feel lucky because I'm in education. You can't have a robot doing that.
Why? Why do you think you can't have a robot doing that?
Because
teaching?
they would be really bad at it.
But
Robots,
they know more than
they would beat the crap out of that robot.
Do you know that you ask a question to AI right now and it literally chat GPT like answers, like you could even use it for therapy. They say don't, but if you have a question, they answer it and they follow your lead on how you wanted it to be answered to make it seem like you're in the right all the time. They'll never wrong you, which is really scary, actually.
It is.
And in 10 years, I see that being a big problem for everybody. I think my job being a dental assistant, I don't think a robot could do that at all. I clearly hand instruments way faster than a robot could, but maybe a robot could do it. I don't know. I just think that we're doomed in a way.
So you're both, so I'll ask you first, Dana, like, do you have a negative outlook on America in 10 years? Or do you think we will solve this problem of AI and maybe it'll be a beneficial thing?
I want to say if it's a partnership, then it could be beneficial and I can look at it optimistically. But how everybody talks these days, everybody's just like, AI is taking over.
There's
We're
way too much
doomed.
negativity
Like,
in the
our
world
jobs
right now.
are going to be synced.
Well, I think people are generally like afraid of change. I'm more optimistic in the
Extinct?
fact that like AI could like cure cancer. AI
That is
could.
a positive.
Yeah, there's a
part of
lot
it.
of things that we're going to have so many discoveries and so many advancements because
That's
of
where we need
AI.
to find the line, though. We need to find the line with that discovery stuff and not letting it cross over to what AI is possible and capable of doing by taking over things without us regulating it. And we need to get on board right now regulating all of that.
Remember back in the day when all the grocery stores ended up like having these fast lanes, like you could just check out on your own and you don't really need a human doing that?
Yeah,
Guess what? Humans are still overseeing
they
the
are.
checkout lines. So you still need a human being there.
Kanan hasn't been in a grocery store since 2019.
COVID has definitely made me terrified of going to the grocery store. I get all my food delivered.
All right, Don, you sort of started answering. How do you see America in 10 years?
Hope that when it comes to voting and, our future president, we can all kind of come together as united people, especially in this country, not only the world, but figuring out what really works better than what has been not working. And I think we need to come together on that. I think that we need somebody that has a little bit more of a diverse communication level and spirit of what we all believe and not just one-sided. I'm not naming names.
Peace, love, and all of the above.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for joining the revolution. And now we have Mark's remarks. I've always wondered what it would be like to have a twin. I think it'd be cool. But I think I want to be a twin for all the wrong reasons. I know Dawn and Dana maybe possibly switch places one time. Lame. If I had a twin, I think that would have been a regular thing growing up. Let's say my twin was better at math and I had a test that day. Looks like Marcus is going to have Mark's math class today. Also, there are a lot of very cool costume ideas for twins around Halloween. Creepy twin costumes on Halloween would be a must. But I think my twin and I would do it on regular days as well, just to freak people out. Choose a random empty parking lot late at night and dress up like two matching creepy twin ghosts and just stare at freaked out employees deciding if they should go to their cars or not. Dawn and Dana have missed an opportunity to dress like the Shining Twins every year, and they're missing that opportunity. But in all seriousness, I think I would love the closeness of having a twin. Someone who was with you every day of your childhood, who experienced that childhood at the same age, and whether or not we could ever agree on what actually happened in our mutual past, it would still be our mutual past. Dana and Dawn are lucky to have the closeness that only twins can have. And I want to thank them again for coming on and sharing some of their stories with us. And I want to thank our audience for listening to today's episode. And if you like what you hear, please tell your friends to join the revolution. Thank you and have a great day.